Alright, been a while since I've made any videos. Just been too damn busy with work and shit like that. Um, so, thought I'd do a quick one today. As you can see, I've got the good old Vectrex. This is something that I've finally gotten just recently. I've wanted a Vectrex for a very long time. Absolutely beautiful machine, wonderful games. Um, Now, the Vectrex was released in Japan by Bandai officially. However, it's, to be honest, one of the rarest things you can possibly find as far as, mass-produced systems go. Bandai had a habit of, Bandai knew they weren't going to, outsell the Famicom or anything like that, so they went and licensed stuff like the Vectrex, and they also brought the Intellivision over. Stuff that they could do minimal localization with and just throw it on the shelf and hope to make some money off of it. And they did that with the Vectrex. Now this is actually, as you can see, this is a American Vectrex that's been imported into Japan. These days, the proper Japanese Vectrex, well, quite cool looking because it's got some nifty greens and it's got some nice kanji logos on it, is incredibly rare. And I mean, getting one for less than $600 takes a miracle. So, well, I mean, I'd love to own one someday. I had a chance to pick up a USA model for, a fairly fair price, and I jumped on it. Because, well, Vectrexes, in the US are quite affordable. These weigh about 15 pounds, and it's not exactly something you'd want to try and ship overseas. So, when I managed to get a fair price on a US system that was already in Japan, I jumped on it. Hopefully one day I'll find a nice boxed Japanese version, but not something I want to spend a whole lot of money on. Because it's just, the games are identical anyway. So, this is just a standard USA Vectrex. Also, in Japan, I think Bandai released about 8 games for it. But again, they're just pretty much the US games. So, game collection-wise, so far, I've got kind of a mix. Got this Vecmania homebrew cart, which actually came with the system, of all things. And then, I got a copy of iCyborg, the homebrew game. This is awesome, by the way. I'm not the biggest fan of homebrew, but Vectrex homebrew games are quite cool. And then we've got, of course, Hyper Chase, which you can see is actually the Milton Bradley European version, which I kind of like the Euro games. The boxes are a lot shinier. And Solar Quest, which is the USA version. And then I've got Harmagedon Berserk. These are actual official Bandai Japanese releases. If you'll notice, though, see, this is the actual Japanese Bandai Vectrex logo. Well, Berserk uses the normal American logo. See, Harmagedon is, as you can tell, it's the Japanese version of Star Trek, aka Starship. And Bandai actually gave their Vectrex games volume numbers, so yeah, this is number 1. And as you can see, it's just basically Star Trek, Starship, but the Japanese version of it. This one actually has like a real box though, which is kind of nice. Berserk, as I just showed you, has the American logos on it, and that's because when they released this, they just didn't give a shit anymore. The Japanese Vectrex logo, this is a sticker. And the Bandai logo, this is also a sticker. And on the back, down here, is also a sticker. And you'll notice it's in English. Basically, at this point, Bandai just said, fuck it. They took the actual American games and just slapped some stickers on it. It does have a Japanese manual, but other than that, it's the USA version with just some cheapo stickers. I really do like the Japanese logo, though. Even the overlay is fully in English. But yeah, it's a Japanese version, Japanese manual. And you can see it's a bit faded on the one side. But yeah, there aren't that many Japanese Vectrex games. And originally, I thought it'd be cool to get a full set, but it's just not worth it because they sell for so much cheaper on eBay. But Harmagedon, though, seems to be a fairly infamous one that a lot of people are searching for, and so yeah, why not? We'll take a look at this one really quickly. But yeah, I'm guessing Bandai was too cheap to pay for the Star Trek license, so they decided to call it Harmagedon. Though oddly, the card itself, I think, is actually uses the same ROM board as the European version, or maybe it is the US version. I'm kind of a Vectrex noob in some ways, but when you boot the game up on the title screen, it still says Starship, like the European version. But yeah, they did give the game does have its own label. So I'll just foil that into the system here. Hold on a sec. Okay. And the typical cart holder thing, and of course the overlay, and all of the Japanese games came with a poster ad thing. Berserk's got one too. Check out the clothes, man. But yeah, as you can see, I believe this is the entire collection of games Bandai bothered to release. Number 1, Harmagedon. Number 2, Scramble Wars, aka just normal Scramble. 3, Armor Attack. 4, Berserk. 5, Clean Sweep. 6, Cosmic Chasm. Hyper Chase. Solar Quest. No, that's Rip Off. And Solar Quest, Space Wars, and Starhawk. And I think that is all the entire collection that they bothered to bring over here. So, to get some of the cooler games like Pole Position, you gotta import them anyway. So I just kind of said fuck it. And personally, I've decided I only want box copies, mainly because I really like the overlays. But I don't give a damn about region. And to be honest, I think the European versions looks the coolest with their purple logo and their silver box. So yeah, so here's the official Harmagedon overlay, which on the front of the box it's actually fully in English, but it is in fact in Japanese for what the buttons do. But yeah, Berserk just uses the normal American version. So let's put this on. But yeah, I decided to do a video on this one just because there's not a whole lot of real good information on you know, the Japanese versions of like the older retro stuff, like the Vectrex here, or like the Japanese in television. They do exist, but no one really cares enough. I mean, supposedly the copies of this game have sold for incredible amounts of money, and I have no idea why, because it really isn't that hard to get. In fact, this was like the very first cart I bought after I got my Vectrex. It was just right there. Turn on the hum. But as you see, it says Starship on the cart, on the title screen. How the hell am I going to do this? Alright. But, yeah, it's just your typical... Now, I really enjoy this game. You just move around and, You can pause, power link, shoot, and this is impossible to play with one hand, but it's a fairly, I think just about anyone that's familiar with the Vectrex knows the actual game. But the Vectrex is, as far as the like the pre-Famicom goes, Vectrex and MSX is about as simple as I get. And I've got mad respect for the Atari, but I just can't play the game so much anymore. But the Vectrex just looks so damn cool. The vector graphics have aged really, really well. Just a wonderful system. But, oh, by the way, if anyone out there watching this happens to have a spare Mindstorm overlay, or one they just don't want anymore, please let me know. Mine didn't come with the Mindstorm overlay, and it's been a pain in the ass trying to find one. So, yeah, if you've got one you can let go of, let me know. Do some kind of trade. I can send you some cool Japanese games for a piece of plastic. But, so yeah, it's this is one of those games there's just a lot of misinformation on it. Like there's a major Vectrex website that I looked at which claims this is an original game made by Bandai, and no, it's just Star Trek. But yeah, that is the slightly legendary Harmagedon for the Bandai Vectrex. Great system, great games, and should have some more videos coming soon. This work's been a pain in the ass, so it's been kind of slow. Any questions, let me know. See you later. This vid will put on